Day one of conflict, and the world's energy artery trembled. Military strikes closed critical routes, halting the flow of oil.
Oil prices spiked instantly, sparking panic on global markets.
Sell now! It's right now! The volume is spicy!
Traders strong trades, uncertainty of great decision.
Consumers felt the first shock at the pumps, gas bills climbing by the hour. Governments began emergency planning, weighing sanctions and interventions.
Financial markets reeled, investors seeking safe havens in gold and bonds.
Every headline reminded the world.
The war had begun, and the stakes were high. The ripple effect was immediate, spreading to Europe, Asia, and the Americas. By nightfall, it was clear. The war's first day had already shaken the world economy. With routes closed, global oil supply began to dwindle. Major producers struggled to maintain output as local security risks soared. Crude surged past $100 a barrel, panic spreading across trading floors. Insurance costs skyrocketed, making fuel transportation even more expensive.
The red zones here are the main drivers.
Alternatives were limited, forcing nations to scramble for safer passageways. Every delay and disruption hit consumers directly, long lines forming at fuel pumps. Countries tried tapping reserves, but it was only a temporary relief. The interconnected nature of oil markets made every local disruption global. We're seeing the ripple effects everywhere. The crisis wasn't just financial, it was personal, hitting households worldwide. As the days passed, the war's ripple through the economy became impossible to ignore. With energy costs soaring, food and goods prices rose sharply. Families across the world felt the pinch at the pump.
Oh my gosh, $6?
This is insane! We can't keep paying this!
Supply chains strained under rising fuel costs, creating delays in essential goods. Households struggled to make ends meet, cutting back on every non-essential expense.
We just can't keep going like this.
Local businesses faced impossible choices: absorb costs or pass them on to customers. Heartbreaking. Inflation rose sharply, leaving central banks racing to respond. Anger and frustration boiled over, triggering demonstrations in multiple nations. We are committed to implementing comprehensive measures to stabilize the situation. Authorities promised measures, but public trust began to erode. The economic fear spread to markets, affecting more than just oil and fuel. The war's impact had moved from battlefields to every home around the world. Markets plunged as the world reacted to escalating conflict and oil spikes.
Sell it all! Get out now! My goal is the only safe bet!
Investors sought safe havens as panic set in. Gold and government bonds became the refuge in uncertain times.
Media coverage amplified fear, fueling more volatility.
The Dow plunged another 300 points. Tech stocks are in free fall.
We must coordinate globally now.
Agreed. Europe is aligned.
Banks coordinated globally, but confidence in the market was shaken. Indices fell sharply across continents, wiping out billions in value.
Oh no, it's down again.
Let me see. Wow, that's bad. Mine. Every household investments felt the shock directly in their savings. The crisis was no longer distant.
It was in living rooms everywhere.
Public unrest grew as economic anxiety boiled over. Markets and economies intertwined, showing the full global cost of just 4 days of conflict. As oil prices soared, central banks faced the impossible: curb inflation without stalling growth. Every spike in energy cost pushed everyday goods further out of reach. Households struggled to adjust, cutting back on essentials and luxuries alike.
We have to cut the cable bill.
And dance class?
Gasoline hit new highs, directly affecting transportation and delivery costs worldwide. Investors panicked as rising prices threatened global economic stability. Costs are rising fast.
And our profits are down. We have to raise prices.
Customers won't like it. Economies everywhere felt the heat, from emerging markets to major powers. Authorities debated interest rate hikes, but decisions carried immense risk.
Sell! Sell everything now!
Inflation market
Flashing volatile, find it via prolonged economic pain. Inflation was no longer abstract. It had reached every home and every street. Countries scrambled to reroute trade as supply chains were disrupted by the conflict. Ports and shipping lanes struggled to handle delayed deliveries and insurance costs. Governments sought alternative oil suppliers to avoid prolonged shortages. Producers raced to fill the gap, yet supply remained tight and prices high. Logistics delays became visible, affecting food, medicine, and manufacturing supply.
Some nations accelerated renewable energy investments to reduce dependency on oil.
Companies adapted, but the cost of doing business soared across sectors.
Fuel surcharges are up again.
Prices have to go up. These prices are outrageous.
I know, but costs are up everywhere.
Can't afford this. We'll have to cut back.
The world economy began a slow realignment, driven by necessity and survival.
Trade patterns were forever altered, as nations sought stability in uncertain times.
Political alliances shifted as energy security became a must now.
Agreed, our national grids are at risk.
We must act on sanctions, but at what cost to energy independence?
We need economic relief for our people.
Public frustration grew, pressuring governments to act fast. The world watched closely, aware that every decision had global repercussions.
Stakes are high.
Markets reflected political uncertainty, amplifying economic anxiety.
These prices are outrageous.
I know, my bike can't take much more. Or stretching their budgets to meet rising costs.
The world economy began a slow realignment, driven by necessity and survival. Every nation faced a trade-off between security and economic stability.
The prices keep going up.
It's getting harder to bear the consequences of political and economic decisions far away. The conflict reshaped both politics and economics, creating new divides. Crude remained high, reflecting the long-term strain on supply. By day 20, the immediate fighting had subsided, but the impact lingered. Markets reopened cautiously, factoring in the lessons from the last 3 weeks.
Volatility at sector.
Agreed. Keep positions small. Consumers were still feeling the effects, adjusting to higher costs for fuel and goods.
Prices keep going up. Cheap.
Industries slowly recovered, but delays and costs left lasting scars. The consequences are profound. We must assess the economic fallout.
And begin planning recovery measures.
Global growth forecasts were revised downward. Inflation remained stubbornly high.
People adapted, but the memory of disrupted lives and rising costs remained fresh. The oil market's volatility will force a complete rethink of our strategies.
Yes, the ripple effect.
Oil would reshape for years to come. The 20 days of war ended, but the world's economy and politics would never be the same.